Pets and animals are some of the most beloved things in this world, and honestly, as somebody who works at a pet store, you wouldn't believe the amount of money I see people drop on their pets daily. So I guess you can imagine this guy, Mark Longo's shock when he was the victim of the DEC of New York after they pulled up to his house 6 officers deep just to conduct a rabies test, in the process killing his animals. Now, if you haven't heard about this situation, it's a pretty sad one. Apparently, a squirrel that he's had for about 7 years named Peanut was euthanized as well as his raccoon. Now, of course, a lot of people who have heard about the situation are up in arms about it. I am too, because I don't really understand why a squirrel and a raccoon had to die. I know a lot of people have pets like that. However, I do understand that they have permits or are a part of some sort of conservation effort or some part of a zoo or something like that. And so they're not really classified as like normal pets per se. It's kind of the same thing whenever you see an animal like a capybara or something on Instagram and they're just chilling in the living room or something like that. Those aren't really pets. Those are just animals that people are taking care of, and they're likely housed in some sort of separate company facility. Now, as I said before, Marcus had Peanut for about 7 years, and in those 7 years he's been doing videos with him and everything like that. You know, from what I understand, there had been no record of mistreatment or anything like that. I mean, this guy rescued the squirrel and pretty much just brought it back to a point where it could be released into the wild, but it just kind of never departed from him. Apparently Peanut's mother was hit by a car, and so Mark, you know, did his due diligence and took on the responsibility of having a squirrel in his house. My goodness, man. And honestly, this article right here that I'm about to read to you guys just makes it sound way worse. The New York Times says an upstate man whose beloved squirrel was cruelly killed by the state said that he was treated like a terrorist when 10 government agents descended on his home during a 5-hour raid. A 5-hour raid is actually insane, considering the fact that most raids that I've been a part of don't even last half as long. And yes, I'm talking about Destiny raids. I'm not actually talking about me killing fucking animals. Mark Longo, whose pet Peanut captured the hearts of 3 million social media users, was stunned when a convoy of vehicles carrying officials from the State Department of Environmental Conservation arrived at his Pine City home Wednesday. They served him with a surprise warrant, allowing them to snatch away Peanut and Fred the raccoon, an animal that he'd also taken in. He said, "They treated me like I was a terrorist. They treated this raid as if I was a drug dealer. They ransacked my house for 5 hours. They asked my wife, who was of German descent, what her immigration status was. They asked if I had cameras in my house. They wouldn't allow me to go into the bathroom. And they even checked the toilet to see if I was hiding anything in there." Dude, I don't I don't mean to laugh, but that part about the immigration status just sounds so ridiculous. Like, imagine being this guy, right? You know, you're taking care of your pets, and all of a sudden you just hear a screech outside. 10 cars pull up, bro. All these officers come out, hit you with the, "Oh yeah, I'm here to take away your pets. We have to conduct a rabies evaluation," or whatever the fuck. And then they step over to your wife, and the first thing that they say to her is, "Ma'am, what's your immigration status?" The fuck? I thought you were here for the pets. So you might have been wondering as to the full reason why they had to kill Peanut and the raccoon. Well, like I said before, it's because they had to do a rabies test, I guess. And the only real test that you can do for rabies has to be on a dead animal. And I believe, don't hate me if I get this wrong, but I believe the reason being is because the direct fluorescent antibody test requires the brain and all its components to be intact. And I believe you have to analyze the brain in some way. And so obviously you can't do that on a live animal. So, but this is the thing that I don't get, right? Why is it that an official Department of New York started in 1970 that has all these resources? If you go online, you know, they have millions of dollars in funding. Why on earth are you listening to complaints from people who don't even fucking live there? These are people who are online listing complaints about rabies, and you pull up 10 officers deep? Huh? I gotta be missing something, bro. On top of that, most animals on earth can carry rabies, or most mammals can at least. Also, the rabies virus isn't just like, you know, in something automatically. You get it from an infected animal. I just find it weird that an official department is out here listening to Twitter comments and TikTok comments and reportedly treating this man like a terrorist, when I am almost certain that they would not treat any other animal like a dog or a cat like this. They can get rabies too. And for some reason, I just feel like the people who did complain to them from online, I feel as though they wouldn't have done so if it were a dog or a cat or some sort of common pet, or hell, even if it was a capybara on screen, if instead of like a squirrel or some type of rodent. I just feel like a lot of people are too quick to judge without knowing the full story, and unfortunately that got 2 pets killed that honestly just should have been alive. Spoiler alert, there are other pets that exist out there other than cats and dogs. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I understand the damage that a squirrel can do. Those motherfuckers cause power outages, something like you wouldn't believe. It's kind of the same thing with raccoons as well, but instead of citywide power outages, I believe it's just them being the most common animal for rabies. But as I've stated before, both of these animals, Peanut primarily, had been around for years. One thing about this situation that I thought was kind of funny and that I've been noticing on Twitter is that Elon Musk himself is going crazy spam tweeting and reposting different tweets that he comes across talking about the situation, and he's like low-key making it a political thing, and I don't really know if it is a political thing or not. I guess because of that whole immigration comment that the officer made, maybe that's what made it a political thing. But just take a look at some of these. If you strike me down, I will become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Obi Peanut Kenobi. And this one, support the right to bear arms. There's no reason you need to own a gun. You literally just murdered my pet squirrel. Honestly, kind of true, not gonna lie. If people just have the balls to come into your house unannounced and kill your pets just because of somebody else's comments, bro, yeah, no. If it had been the right person, that's an instant 5 stars. However, I do guess that the only reason why he's doing this is because it's November, you know, it's election month, and also he endorses Donald Trump, so that's probably where all this is coming from. It's just kind of funny to me. Anyways, guys, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button. If you want more content similar to this, hit that subscribe button. See you guys in the next one. Sub up, stay safe, and peace.